Hello my loves and welcome to a new vlog. So if you guys have noticed, I took a little bit of a hiatus. I was having some really stressful issues and I just needed to step away for a minute, but I'm back and today I'm going to try and see if I can complete my Our Fantasy Bingo. This is a long shot though. I did some shuffling around and I did figure out that there are ways I will be able to complete this video and there are ways I'm going to be able to get as close to finishing as possible. I have two squares that I have yet to fill in the top row, one being Hidden Gem and one being published in the 80s. Those are the two I'm afraid I won't complete. And the reason for that is I don't have any books calling to me right now. In those slots, I do have a self-pub book and I do have The Black Company. I can get The Black Company on audio, so that has a better chance of being completed than the rest of these. And I'm currently working on The Poet Empress. Now, you guys may notice that The Poet Empress is taking the place of Tigana in this list, which I had promised to read, and I do still plan to read it. We've just known over the last year I've had an issue with fantasy, which has made this bingo board very difficult for me to complete. But as you can see behind me, fantasy is still my favorite genre. I don't plan to quit reading fantasy, and I'm gonna use this as kind of my launch back into fantasy because Magical Readathon is coming and I have some hard hitters in fantasy in Magical Readathon as well. So I don't know what I did with my book. I am reading The Poet Empress. I think I probably left it in my bedroom, but I am absolutely loving this book. I am so engrossed in everything that's going on. I love the characters. I really like the course of the story. I've said before, I really like a strong female character that is not solely reliant on muscle, like the strength of their body. I like it when it's their mind. And so that is really making me love this main character. And I will check in with you guys when I finish that. But let's talk about the other ones that I need to read. So I need a book in parts. I do still plan to read Dawn of the Vampire. It's up there somewhere. Last in the series, I think I do need to finish this series right here. The Slain Divine, like that book right there. I need to finish that series, but I don't know if I'm in the headspace for it right now. I do also need to finish Emily Wilde. So you will have noticed that in cozy sci-fi and fantasy, I have put Kill the Beast. So I did read that earlier this year. I did really love it, and that might be a shift that I need to make this board work for me instead of me working for the board. Parents is kind of up in the air. Now, Biopunk. I lost the book and it's sitting beside me. That is hilarious. Anyway, for Biopunk, one of the top books that everyone suggests for Biopunk is Brave New World. I have this. One of my patrons, Izzy, got this for my birthday a couple years ago, but it is the Brave New World graphic novel. And I think I might use this because, I mean, it's fairly long. It's definitely novel length. And Brave New World is one of my favorite books of all time, which is why she got this for me. So I do think I can do Biopunk with this. 5 short stories. I still have Hex Life that I have yet to read. That has been on my TBR for 3 years. I need to get it read. And then Pirates. I recently bought a book called Crossbones. It is YA, but it's one that I have had on my TBR for a really long time. Just never bought the book. So I want to get that read. And that would be a complete Our Fantasy Bingo aside from the top 2. So I think I'm okay with getting that far simply because, like I said, sci-fi and fantasy, they haven't been high up on my list over the last year simply because my brain said, nah, don't want to. I'm too stressed out to read these types of books. I will have you know, my brain is getting much better. Things are starting to turn around over here. And I do feel like I will be able to tackle next year's Our Fantasy Bingo or the one that is coming up in April. And that makes me very excited. But that's all the update I have for you currently. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the video. right, hello. Today I am up at 6 a.m. Why? Who knows? I actually didn't sleep. I'm having insomnia, but it's for a good reason this time. I actually feel great. So my brain is like, we need to be doing something instead of sleeping because we've spent so much time sleeping while we were sick and not feeling well. Anyway, that being said, I have finished Brave New World. I was really excited to get into this because this has a really pretty art style. I'm going to try and find something that's not necessarily spoilery. I really like the art style in this, but I do have to say, I don't think this graphic novel really has the gravitas of the novel itself. It doesn't really portray that raw emotion of what these characters are going through. Not even close with the art style, and not with the way they chose to tell the story either. And I do think the Shakespeare aspects were a little overdone in this. And I don't know. There were certain aspects of the story that I was just like, was that necessary? Did that have to happen? And I know that Brave New World is not exactly the story that gives you the good feelings. But I don't know. There were moments where I was like, okay, I get it, but I don't get why this part was depicted while others were left out. Anyway, I think this I would give a 3-star. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, other than what I've said. But I mean, there's nothing glaringly wrong with it. Let's just say that. I do still love Brave New World. I love the story. I even love the show that they did, even with the alternate ending that the show gives. But the graphic novel, it's a cool thing to keep on my shelves and have, but the story itself wasn't the greatest in graphic novel form. That's all I really have to say. I am further into The Poet Empress as well. I do know where the book is. It's just not in my hand right now. I believe I'm about 50 to 60% in at this point. I'm still loving this story. I do wonder where it's going to go from where it currently is, because there's still almost half the book to go. And I feel like there might be a lull coming. I don't know. I do know a lot of my friends are giving this book 5 stars though. I do know that I'm like very, very excited to see where it goes. That gives me 3 lines on my bingo board that I can complete with 1 book. So we filled in biopunk here. So all I have to do is 5 short stories here, pirates here, parents here. And I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I do still need to finish The Poet Empress, like I said. But Hex Life might be coming up because I have had that on my TBR for forever. Also, you may have seen some B-roll of us going to Project Hail Mary, and I am happy to tell you the movie is amazing. It is the best book to film adaptation I think I've ever seen. And we all know I have a favorite series out there in the world that is a book to film adaptation that I love. There's a couple of them actually. I would say The Hunger Games and Divergent. I do actually really enjoy the book to movie adaptations of those. And this one though takes the cake. There were some changes made, but I thought the changes played well into the story. And there were some things that weren't in the movie that I was like, okay, we do still get that feeling from the movie, even though those scenes didn't happen because of how other things played out. So I just really enjoyed every moment of that movie. It was hilarious. I will say that. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it or who hasn't read the book. But yeah, Rocky takes the cake. I mean, he does in the book and he does in the movie as well. It was really, really good. But like I said, I have not slept. I am tired. I don't know if I will go take a nap or if I will just continue to read because my brain is like, we're not tired. I don't know what you're talking about. But also my eyes are starting to hurt. My allergies are getting a little iffy. And I am feeling the drain. So I will check back in with you guys when I get further in either The Poet Empress or if I pick up something else. All right, don't judge me. I need to go take a shower and all of that. So yes, I am still in the same clothes that I was in yesterday. But I have finished The Poet Empress. Yes, I remembered to bring my book this time. This was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be giving this 5 stars. I do love everything about what our main character had to discover about the guy that she's going up against and how he became this villainous creature. Way she has to go about writing this poem that pretty much states she knows exactly who this person is and how they became the villainous person that they were. Anyway, everything about this was absolutely fantastic. The ending was quite epic. I loved this book so much. So much. How to write a love poem for someone I hated so deeply with every drop of blood in my veins. How to do it so convincingly that even the ancestors believed it. That is kind of the essence of this story. And, you know, I think that this has reawakened my love for fantasy. If you guys have seen my Q2 TBR video, you will see that I'm ready to get back into things like this. I'm ready to have those deep discussions, and I'm ready to have those epic world building moments and things like that. So I have this book to thank for that. It was so good. Now, as far as my bingo board goes, obviously that doesn't change anything because The Poet Empress was already on there. But for pirates, I did say I was going to read Crossbones. However, I do need an audiobook at the moment, and there is no audiobook for Crossbones, so I will save that for a later date. But I do have Fable by Adrienne Young. Now, this has some mixed reviews, but if you guys remember, I got this from a Pango seller so that I could avoid shipping. I did want to read this. I do love Adrienne Young. I've had really great success with her other books. I have a couple more from her on my TBR, so I'm just going to read this one. I think this will be quick to get through because it is YA. But it says, welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it, where a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in a world built for men. Which very much sounds like an Adrienne Young novel. She does have a tendency to write women in a man's world. And I think I could really love this. I don't know. But like I said, I needed an audiobook, so I had to change it up a little bit. But that will finish 2 lines here. So we'll have 2 bingos there. We did Biopunk, so I did Brave New World for that, which means my 5 short stories will be coming up, and I do still have Hex Life. So we're going to work from here, but a book in parts. I do want to get Empire of the Dawn read. Hopefully that will happen in this video. That is probably my biggest tackle for this video, my biggest tackle in a while. So let's just keep going. Let's keep the momentum that I'm currently having, the excitement I'm currently feeling, and push through and see if I can get this Our Fantasy board completed. my hair is a complete mess, but that's okay. So I have finished Fable. I have to tell you guys, I really enjoyed this story. I knew I liked Adrienne Young's writing, but this one was pretty captivating from start to finish. We have a girl who, she's trying to find her place in the world, and her father is this notorious figure in the world, and he abandons her and tells her, "You were not made for this world. If you can survive and find me again, maybe we can have the relationship that we want, but you were not made for this world." So basically telling her she was too weak to survive. She was too soft to survive. This comes on the heels of her losing her mother. So she's kind of done everything that she can to try and get back to her father. She's done everything that she can to survive in this world that everyone tells her she's not supposed to be able to survive. And she meets a crew of people who she decides to take it upon herself to join their crew and sail across the ocean to find her dad. And it was just really, really good. I gave it 4 stars, and I do think I want to continue. Like I said, I knew I liked Adrienne Young's writing, and I'm not always clicking with YA lately, but this one seemed to work for me. So yeah, I'll pick up the rest of the books and continue the series. Also, my allergies are going ballistic, so I'm gonna try not to cough and sneeze and all that through this, but if I look a little poofy, if I look a little red, that is why. I have also started Empire of the Dawn, this chunky beast. Now, this is going to put a damper on what I can finish for the rest of this video because this is so long and I'm not going to rush through it. I have been looking forward to this book for almost a year since it released, and I love everything about this story. Of course, this is the 3rd and final book to Empire of the Vampire. You guys know I have an obsession with vampires. You guys know I love a good epic fantasy done in a modern lens. So this really, really hits for me. I also, we went out to a friend's house and they invited us to go fishing and invited us to kind of enjoy nature. And I was not going to take Empire of the Dawn with me, because I was like, if that book gets messed up, I will be so mad. So I took this along, and this is The Failures by Benjamin Lyer, which would be this book. And I'll be honest with you, I only got a chapter in while we were out there because I decided to participate and just enjoy nature while we were out there. But it was also really difficult because it was really windy. I got, like I said, the first chapter, so 12 pages in, and I do plan to continue with this one though, because it was really, really good. That first chapter, very intriguing, but I don't know if it's going to apply to anything that I need to get done unless it's Hidden Gem. If I can fold that into Hidden Gem, then maybe I will continue to read it for this video, but I'm very intrigued by that book. I'd actually heard from quite a few people that it would be fantastic and up my alley simply because it's one of those dark fantasy, almost dystopian kind of reads. The synopsis says, "Welcome to the Wanderlands, a vast machine made for reasons unknown. The Wanderlands was broken long ago. First went the sky, splintering and cracking, and then very slowly the whole machine. The whole world began to go dark." And then we are introduced to a group of adventurers, degenerates, and children. But it seems to me like they're trying to prevent the end of the world, and it has kind of a Suicide Squad feel to it. I love books like that, The Maleficent 7 being one of my favorites, and I really, really am looking forward to finishing that one as well. If I can't fit it into this vlog, then it might just carry over into Magical Readathon, which like I said, I've only read 1 chapter, so it's not like I gave a good start to the book before the readathon starts. I think I can fit it into dystopia because that is what it's seeming like has happened, even though it's not our world. It is a fantastical world, but yeah, very, very good. So I will update you guys when I get further along in either Empire of the Vampire, which I think, or I keep saying Empire of the Vampire, Empire of the Dawn, or The Failures, but I think I'm going to stick with Empire of the Dawn because I am so much intrigued by everything going on already. And it's one of my most anticipated releases of last year. So, okay guys, I have a confession to make. I failed. I failed big time. I was reading Empire of the Dawn and I was absolutely loving it. I'm still loving it. However, I got my husband addicted to something, and it's entirely my fault. And now I have to have some follow through with it. And he's addicted to Bridgerton. And so I've been spending most of my free time watching Bridgerton with him and loving his commentary. It's hilarious because while my husband is not romantic at all, he loves like rom-coms and things like that. He loves drama, and he loves like the music arrangements of the show because it's modern music, but they play it in like a ballroom setting done in a very classical style. And so, yeah, I have been lifing instead of reading, but I've very much been enjoying my time with my husband watching Bridgerton. And like I said, all the things that he's enjoying about it, I'm enjoying watching him watch the show. But that does mean that I failed. I did not complete my Our Fantasy Bingo. Did read 3 books for this though. We got through Fable. I loved that one. Poet Emperor is probably going to be on my top books of the year. And then Brave New World, which was kind of a letdown because this is the graphic novel, just pointing that out. Brave New World happens to be one of my favorite books of all time, but this one, I don't think it was done well. I am going to keep it. Obviously, it was a gift, and it is kind of a cool thing just to own. But I did not complete Empire of the Dawn, and it makes me sad because I've been looking forward to this. I'm going to continue reading this. I think what I might do is get myself a scroll and push Strength of the Few just a hair and read this one for my fantasy book that I need to read for a bestseller. And I keep forgetting that whenever it was shipped to me, they jacked up the spine, but like it's just the outside. It's not the inside. It's not the hardcover itself, it's the dust jacket. But also, I love the UK covers and I hate the US covers. I don't know if I've said that out loud before, but the US covers are absolutely awful for all of Jay Kristoff's books. And so I will never buy a US cover of Jay Kristoff's books unless they change the style. But the UK covers I absolutely love. That'll wrap up this video though, because I need to post it today, which I mean, that's not a great thing either, but I will see you guys in my next vlog. It'll probably be my Magical Readathon vlog or an ARC vlog because I do have quite a few ARCs that I need to read, get them done before time runs out on them. But that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.